And maybe the first rule about robbing banks should be don't talk about robbing banks. Well, a group of men overheard bragging about how easy it is to rob a bank are now wishing they had kept quiet about that successful heist. 4 men have been arrested in connection with a pair of robberies in North Spokane's Garland District. And KXLY4 Chef Humphrey joins us now live at the U.S. Bank on Garland, where police were given valuable clues about those robbers and their getaway car. Jeff?
Nadine, you know, the Garland Business District has its own street fair each summer. They're in the process of trying to lure a police substation here. And in the process of all of that, they become a very close-knit community. And that is why moments after the bank robbery here on December 20th, neighbors and merchants were providing some very valuable tips to officers. Bank surveillance photos are great to get during holdups, but usually by then the suspects have put masks over their faces. And that's why it was so helpful that the owner of this nearby apartment building had several cameras recording when the alleged bandits walked by before the robbery.
We saw it in the Carlisle case where members of the community stepped up and said, hey, we have information, we have video that may help you. That's what solves cases.
In that apartment complex surveillance photo, police say you can clearly see the face of Tyree Wortham. He's a suspect in a second holdup at the Washington Trust Bank, where 4 people armed with guns did a takeover robbery as well.
The perpetrators demonstrated extremely aggressive behavior. As I mentioned earlier, they displayed firearms. These were dangerous individuals that threatened the safety of our community.
Other witnesses saw the suspects running away from the bank, followed them, and gave detectives a good description of their getaway car.
We have to have a seamless relationship between the police department and the community, and we see that when that relationship is seamless, when it is a trusting relationship, we get positive results. We're able to take 4 dangerous individuals off the street.
Detectives knew they were looking for a silver Dodge Durango and found it here in this Monroe Street Hill apartment complex, but only after a confidential informant heard cousins Darren and Adrian Morris allegedly talking about the robberies and then went to police. Detectives then executed a search warrant at that apartment complex and found a gun underneath one of the suspect's mother's bed that matches a small caliber pistol seen in that surveillance video. By the way, Nadine, one of these suspects arrested at last Saturday's Chiefs game at the arena.
And Jeff, bond was set today for these suspects, and pretty high, we understand?
Pretty high amounts, and part of that because of their criminal histories, part of it because of their lack of ties to this community, but mostly because of the behavior displayed during these takeover robberies. They were just not pushing a note across the counter hoping for the best. They were actually jumping over the counter and telling a lady clerk that they would shoot her in the head if she tried to push any alarms. Those are the type of crimes that the court hands down some pretty high bonds on. Reporting live in the Garland District, Jeff Humphrey, KXLY4.